Welcome. It's your man, God of Dots, back with another episode of The Audible. Hope everybody is having a good day. Hope you are having a good week. How you doing, Dr. Nikki? See, you got here early. Oh, man. It's almost the weekend. Hope everybody has had a good week, like I said. And without further delay, let's get into week 9 of the NFL season, the official halfway point of the season. Start off again tonight. 8:15 kickoff. You have Titans and Steelers. Titans who have made the decision to sit Ryan Tannehill. He's out for tonight's game. Will Levis will be starting. Will Levis had a very good performance against the Atlanta Falcons this past Sunday. Typically, when I had a Thursday games, I typically go with the home team, but Tennessee looked real good in their win in Pittsburgh. Have some of the same struggles they had last season. It's kind of lingered on into this season. I thought this team would be a lot better offensively, with those young players maturing, getting more playing time, but it just has not manifested. The defense has been good for Pittsburgh. And I'm almost leaning on picking them tonight just because they are the home team, but it'd be hard for me to go against the Titans based off what I've seen. Especially out of the last game. Will Levis looks like he's the future at quarterback for this team. Very good debut for him. And Kenny Pickett just does not look good for Pittsburgh. Running game has been kind of non-existent for Pittsburgh. The defense, like I said, defense has been good enough to keep them in games, keep them a viable playoff option. Pittsburgh was my dark horse team coming into this season. Tennessee just right now, with a short week, I don't see Pittsburgh being dramatically better than they were Sunday when they played against the Jaguars. So tonight, I'm going to have to go Tennessee Titans. I'm going to have to roll with Derrick Henry, Will Levis, and the boys. It's not must-see TV, but it is something I will be watching. So let's kind of keep it like that. So I got Titans tonight over the Steelers. I think it'll be a very low scoring game. Traditionally, how these two teams match up is not really been a shootout type game. I think the run game is going to be very key for Tennessee tonight, and we'll see if Pittsburgh can kind of get their season on track. The midway point of the season, they're still in position to possibly challenge for a wild card position a little bit later on in the season. And if you're going to make a run for the playoffs, this is the time to start doing it. If you're Pittsburgh, Tennessee tonight, I got them by a touchdown. I think Tennessee wins by a touchdown. But like I said, it ain't must-see TV, but I will be watching. As far as must-see TV goes, I'm surprised when I looked at the schedule. This was a game I was kind of excited about going into the season. I'm not sure why. This is I want to say this is the Frankfurt game over in Germany. So it's a 9:30 kickoff time, Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. Dolphins and the Chiefs. Chiefs look very bad in their performance coming out against the Denver Broncos. Offense looked out of whack. For them to only score 9 points is an anomaly. I don't think that'll be a continuing trend. The offense hasn't looked explosive as they have in years past. But the offense has been good enough to win, and the defense has been probably the most surprising thing about Kansas City this year. Defense has played very well, kept them in a lot of games. Kept it close enough to where they could pull away late. Just couldn't do it against the Broncos. The Dolphins coming off a big win this past Sunday. Also, you got the return of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has been talking already at the 1,000-yard mark, shooting for that 2,000. He did elusive 2,000 for a wide receiver in the season. Yeah, Tyreek has been talking. He said he's ready to eat. He's ready to light them up. I'm not sure if I'm picking the Dolphins, but I do think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I do think the Dolphins present challenges for most teams offensively. They present, so much speed on the field when we're talking about speed at the wide receiver position, speed at the running back position. This is a very fast team. Tua has once again put himself in the MVP conversation. Now he's not at the top of my MVP list at this point of the season, but he is in the conversation. He is very much in the conversation. Also in that conversation, you got to put Patrick Mahomes in there. Yeah, he had a bad game against Denver, but Denver, when they're able to put it together, have one of the better defenses in the league. So, I think this will be a bounce back game offensively for Kansas City. I don't see them going out there and putting up 9 points. Brother of a certain age, how you doing, sir? How you doing? I don't see them putting up the 9 points they put up against the Broncos. I think this is going to be one of those shootout type games. I think um, Kansas City is going to get the ball rolling. You're going to see a lot of Travis Kelce early on. I think Pacheco is going to be very key for the Chiefs. You got to control time of possession to a degree. And I think I said it's going to come down to who has the ball last for me. I think this is one of those games you're going to see 30-30 being put up by both teams. You do have the return last week of Jalen Ramsey. You know, will he be in? He's still kind of getting himself into game shape, so that presents a problem for the Dolphins on defense. But like I said, I think whoever has the ball last in this game, this is must see TV for me. This is possibly a future playoff matchup. I do think both of these teams, Chiefs clearly, going to probably win their division again, and I think the Dolphins have a chance to not only get into the playoffs but also win the AFC East. And that's going to be a very interesting division race coming down the stretch. But focusing in on this game, I'm going to lean Chiefs. I'm going to lean Chiefs. In this one, I think this is one of those 35-31 type games, but I do have the Chiefs winning. I think the defense will be able to make enough stops. I don't think this Miami offense is a team that you can completely hold down. Yeah, they got blew out by Buffalo early in the season, but they were still able to kind of put up some points, put up some yards, even in that loss. So I got Chiefs in this one. I got this one of them 35-31 type games. It'd be very exciting. Way to start off your Sunday of football, early morning football from Germany. I want to say this is the first time in a long time they've had football in Germany. So yeah, I got Chiefs. I got Chiefs in that one. Other games I'm kind of looking at are the early slate of games with the 1 o'clock kickoffs. Vikings, Falcons have finally made a decision. Tyler Heinicke will be starting, and for that reason and that reason alone, I do know Josh Dobbs recently got traded to Minnesota. I'm not sure if they're going to start him out the gate or not, but I do think you put Tyler Heinicke in charge of that Falcons team and that Falcon offense, makes them more dynamic. Probably see a lot more Bijan Robinson coming down the stretch of the season. So I got Falcons. I got Falcons at home. If Kirk Cousins was still available and he wasn't hurt, I may have picked the Vikings. And if Desmond Ridder was the quarterback, I was definitely picking the Vikings. But now I'm not going to pick the Vikings in this one. I do think the Falcons hold serve at home, still pushing for that NFC South division title. And I think Heinicke is, if you're smart, Falcons, barring an injury, I think Heinicke finishes out the season as the starting quarterback. I don't want to see no more Desmond Ridder. I've seen enough. 8-game sample is enough for me to know that, hey, he is not the future quarterback for this team. Neither is Heinicke, but Heinicke has shown when he's given playing time, he's allowed to start, get into those grooves. He's been a very competent quarterback. So I got Vikings losing in this one, going on the road, losing in this one. I think the Falcons hold on to win. It's not going to be must-see TV, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. It's football. Bears, Saints. Got Saints. Saints are at home. Not gonna put much stock into this one. Bears may pull an upset, but I do think New Orleans is the better team, and I think they hold serve at home, playing against the Bears. Rams and Packers. Oh, this is a very interesting game when you kind of break it down. Not sure of the status of Matthew Stafford coming into this game. I know he left last game against the Cowboys with the injury. I'm not sure if he'll be playing this Sunday. I don't think injury report has come out just yet, whether he'll not be playing. And the Packers, the defense has played well this year, but the offense has struggled. The offense has struggled, and it was to be expected. You have Jordan Love, first-year starter. You still have a lot of young players on the offensive side of the ball, and just not have been able to put it together to complement the defense. Like I said, the defense has played very well. The defense has kept them in a lot of games thus far this season. But the offense has had its growing pains. Packers maybe in about a year or two, depending on how Jordan Love progresses for the rest of the season. You may see the Packers back at the top of that division, but not this season. And for that reason, I'm leaning. If Stafford starts for the Rams, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams on the road in Green Bay. This Jordan Love is it has been kind of up and down, and I know what I'm getting from Matt Stafford. I know what I'm getting from the offense. And the Rams, look for them when we do next season. Look for them to be in the conversation for a playoff team. because I like how the young players for the Rams are progressing, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Is it's a very they've had some struggles. I mean they got smoked last Sunday. I mean, but that's it's them boys. It's them boys. It's to be expected. Another game you kind of keep an eye on is the Washington Commanders going up against the Patriots. Now, neither one of these teams I think are going to make the playoffs, but um, we'll kind of it's football, so we got to talk about it. It's football, so we got to talk about it. I do think Washington um, plays a pretty good game on the road, but I think the Patriots, pride kind of carries them over the top, and I think they win at home, host serve home. But it would surprise me if Washington goes up there and gets a win. Sam Howell has had a pretty good first season as a starter. The defense, we're losing Chase Young to a trade to the 49ers. We'll see what that defense kind of looks like without him on the field. Him and Montez Sweat got traded this past week. So we'll see if that pass rush for Washington continues to be successful getting after the quarterback. So I got Patriots. I think Patriots hold over at home. This is one of those pride type games. It's not been the season that the Patriots thought it was going to be. I don't think anybody had them going to the playoffs anyway. And you may be seeing the final ride of Bill Belichick, depending on how the season kind of winds down. But we'll see. But just for focusing in on Week 9. I got Patriots. I got the Patriots over the Commanders. One of the big games. And I wasn't, I didn't circle this on my calendar coming into this season, but one of the big games is you got the Seahawks currently who have a half game lead up in the division over the 49ers. And we'll kind of talk about them later. Later. They're not playing this week, but we'll kind of talk about them, touch on them a little bit later. You got Seahawks and Ravens. Ravens quietly right there pushing for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like I said this on Tuesday's show. Not a lot of people are talking about how well Baltimore has been playing this season. How you doing, Miss Murph? NFL in Germany. How you doing, beautiful? It's always a pleasure. That's exciting. NFL in Germany. Yeah, they haven't played it in an NFL game in Germany in so long. I don't even remember the last regular season game they played in Germany, but I know they played what was that, like that NFL Europe stuff. That was like so long ago, 20, 25 years ago for that. But back to the Seahawks Ravens game. I think this is going to be a very good game. And Lamar Jackson, for me right now, is got to be looked at as the league MVP based on how he's been playing this season. Like I said, not a lot of people talking about Baltimore. Baltimore is not a sexy team. It's not a team that puts people in the stands. Even though I like watching Baltimore play. I've always liked their style of play. It always seems to be we're about our business, and that's that. Seahawks coming off a very good win against a very good Cleveland Browns team. Will they be able to continue to take that show on the road against a Baltimore team right now who is hot, who is hot? Seahawks, I kind of want to pick them. Because I think the Ravens, from time to time they'll slip in games that I think they're favored in, but I'm just having a hard time picking against Baltimore right now. Having a hard time picking against Baltimore. Baltimore has put it together on both sides of the ball, and the offense is becoming more and more explosive. And that is a scary thing if you're an AFC team. The Baltimore offense kind of matches the level of the defense. This offense is becoming very much balanced. They're still able to run the ball pretty much at will. When you have Lamar Jackson, running lanes will be open, but this team has become more explosive as far as the passing game is concerned. So right now, I would have to go Baltimore. I have to go Baltimore on this one. I do think it'll be a very good game, two very good teams. Seahawks have, found a way to kind of stay in a lot of games, be competitive in a lot of games, and have a very good record to show that. Coming to this game, I think with a 5-2 record. This is for me one of those must-see games right here in the middle of the season. We kind of see who's who, and this is middle of the season. That week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11. That's when you kind of separate who's really good and who's a facade. And do think Baltimore is for real. Not to say that the Seahawks ain't. They had the Seahawks make it into the playoffs early in the season, but I got Baltimore. I got Baltimore at home. I don't know if this is going to be a high scoring game. It gives me the vibes of one of those 21-17 type games. I do think both defenses will, keep it respectable, but I do think Baltimore right now is, you got to trust them a lot more on the offensive side of the ball, especially with Lamar Jackson. Geno Smith, he got bailed out last week. Let's keep it a buck. Got bailed out last week, but I got Baltimore. I got Baltimore at home. You also have Buccaneers and Texans. Texans, I was a little disappointed in them going up to Carolina, playing the way that they did. The Texans have been one of the few early surprises of the season. Will they be able to kind of get their stuff back on track at home against the Buccaneers team that is, in the fight right now for the NFC South division title? Based off what I've seen, and over the past couple of weeks, I'm going to have to lean Buccaneers. I think Buccaneers are a very underrated team. I think the defense is very underrated. This is one of those teams that, like I said, they're not sexy picks. They're not sexy teams. These teams are not must see TV. But I do think the Buccaneers have enough to beat a very still a very young Houston Texans team. I think right now, if you was to ask anybody at this point of the season, you think they'd have the record that they have. I think a lot of people would agree that they've kind of overachieved. They've kind of overachieved thus far this season. I've liked CJ Stroud. I like the job D'Amico Ryans is doing down there in Houston, but I do think Tampa Bay, with their veteran experience, the way that the defense has been playing, I do think Tampa Bay kind of gets it done on the road in this one. Once again, not must see TV, but if you're a fan of those teams, I guess it is must see for you. Another game I'm not really looking forward to for the 1 o'clock slate. Cardinals and Browns. Will we not see Kyler Murray at some point this season? I'm not even sure. He has been off the PUP list for a while. I don't know if he's working in the game shape or they're just not willing to risk him getting injured at this point of the season. I mean, you really have nothing to play for if you're Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Maybe playing for draft position. That's about it. I do think Cleveland kind of gets it together at home. I like the way that the defense has been playing. I'm not sure if Deshaun Watson will be starting or not. PJ Walker has done a decent enough job filling in for Deshaun Watson at this point of the season. He's done a very decent job filling in. So I got Cleveland. I got Cleveland at home. Nothing against the Cardinals. They play tough, but eventually, playing tough can only take you so far. You may be able to win about 3 or 4 games a year playing tough, but eventually you got to have talent on the field to really compete in the NFL. The margin of error is that small, and the Cardinals just don't have it. And I think this is a game that Myles Garrett and them boys on the defensive side of the ball really, really, really kind of drive home the point that Cleveland has one of the best defenses in the league. I think this is a game you're going to see maybe two sacks out of Myles Garrett. I think this is kind of solidifying his position right now as the best defensive player in the league. This is one of those highlight games for him. So I do think he kind of gets after it along with the rest of the defense. And they take care of business at home against the Cardinals team. Take care of business at home against the Cardinals team. Now, when we look at the afternoon games, it's only 3 scheduled afternoon games. You have Colts and Panthers. I would have been excited for this early in the season, see Anthony Richardson against Bryce Young, but you have Gardner Minshew starting the quarterback for the Colts. Colts with the outside chance to possibly sneak into the playoffs. Panthers season has not been what I thought it was going to be, even with a rookie quarterback back there. I thought the defense was going to be able to kind of keep them in a lot of games. I thought the running game was going to be able to allow Bryce Young to kind of progress, but neither one of those have been the story thus far this season. They did get their first win against the Texans. Panthers are at home. I mean, they still have talent on the defensive side of the ball. Gardner Minshew is, serviceable as a starting quarterback, but I do think the Colts kind of take care of business on the road. I think Minshew has a decent enough game. This might be one of those games where you see Jonathan Taylor workload continue to increase. I think this may be the game where he kind of breaks out for 100 yards from scrimmage. So I'm picking Colts in this one. I'm picking Colts in this one. Panthers is just at this point of the season, you kind of are what you are. This is like I said, this point of the season, you are what you are. This is when the teams, get separated, and the Panthers have been separated for a long time. Like I said, just picked up their first win last week. It has been a struggle. Watching this team this year has been a struggle. And I'm not a Panthers fan. There's been some ugly football up there in Carolina. We'll see what they look like coming down the stretch. See if Bryce Young can make it to the end of the season. Speaking of the end of the season, it is. I talked about this on Tuesday when we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. I said they need to go ahead and get rid of the head coach. Josh McDaniels has clearly shown in each of his stops that he is not head coaching material. He is not head coaching material. This past Tuesday, shortly after I made the announcement that they should fire him later on that night, a couple hours later, the team released him and the general manager and the offensive coordinator, told them, hey, you guys can kick rocks. I'm willing to bet, and it may not come out through the press, but I'm willing to bet some of the star players, especially on the offensive side of the ball, when we're talking about a Josh Jacobs, we're talking about a Devontae Adams, may have been talking to ownership like, man, we need a change. We need a change. Shortly before the Monday night game, which they lost, and they look bad, shortly before that, they had a team players only meeting, and I'm pretty sure some of those grievances got back to ownership, and it was time. It was time. Like I said, Josh McDaniels is, in my opinion, you're better off as a coordinator. And to be honest, I'm not sure how good of a coordinator he really is. When you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, I mean, how much credit do I give Josh McDaniels as a coordinator? I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. So if you're a Raiders fan, I know you're glad that they're gone. Like I said, Josh McDaniels it's never been head coach material. But going into this game, Giants and Raiders, it's necessarily not must-see TV. But the Giants, I don't know if Tyrod Taylor's going to be able to play. I do think he's slated to start. Daniel Jones is still out, but the defense for the Giants has played very, very, very well, especially over the last 4 or 5 weeks of this season. So I'm gonna go Giants. I'm gonna go Giants on the road in Las Vegas. I do think the Raiders come out a little bit more fired up. They have the new head coach, Antonio Pierce, former linebacker. This is interesting. Former linebacker, used to play for the Giants back in the day. He's the new head coach out there in Vegas. Maybe the guys, play with a little bit more pep, play with a little bit more energy. I do know Jimmy Garoppolo is out for this Sunday's game. They will be starting rookie Aiden O'Connell, who didn't look that bad in his one start earlier this season. Didn't look that bad. I wouldn't call him the future of the at the quarterback position, but he didn't look that bad. He didn't look like a rookie. Made some good plays, made some bad plays, but I do think the Giants defense is able to will be able to kind of keep Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs in check enough to where the Giants can put up enough points. It's not going to be pretty football. It's not going to be pretty football. The Giants is just not one of those teams to kind of just put points up on people like that. Neither are the Raiders. So it's gives me one of those 20-13 type games. It's not going to be pretty, but I do think the Giants defense is that much better than what we've seen from the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders have been able to put it together on either side of the ball consistently enough for me to kind of pick them. Now, I like what I've seen from the Giants defense. And that's the only reason I'm picking the Giants. Just because of the defense. I don't think the offense is really been worth much of anything, but the defense has carried them the last couple of weeks. And the big game. Let me go to my StreamYard real quick. Smurf, I'll be waiting for you. What do you think of them getting rid of Williams? I don't mind. I don't mind them getting rid of Leonard Williams, brother of a certain age. I don't mind it at all. Does it hurt the defense? Yes, it does. Leonard Williams is still a very talented player, but I mean, if you're able to kind of get some draft capital, and let's keep it a book. They really didn't want to pay dude anyway. In New York, you got other players they were trying to allocate money to anyway. Leonard Williams has been an okay player in his time in the league, but it's just not he's not a guy that moves the needle for me. So I think getting rid of Williams. I mean, you're not unless a miracle happens in New York, you're not making the playoffs. Giants fans, I'm sorry. It's just been one of those seasons. I'm not sure when Daniel Jones is going to be able to get back out on the field and earn that contract that you gave him. I'm not sure, but I don't have an issue with them getting rid of Leonard Williams. Maybe could have got a little bit more from him, but defensive tackles is not a teams are not giving up first, second round picks for DTs slash DEs. Especially for Leonard Williams, he's not a needle mover. He's not a needle mover. Good player, He's always been a good player, but it's just not a needle mover. So I'm just it's kind of like a just a C. I give it a C. If I had to grade the trade, I'd have to get that get at a C. Maybe could have got a little bit more from a different team, as far as the draft compensation. But hey, you got what you got. You moved off of them. You didn't want to pay the dude big long term money anyway. So I mean, good move as far as I'm the GM for the G men. Pretty good move. I mean, you got something for him. I mean, you didn't walk away with nothing. Speaking of walking away with nothing, Cowboys and the Eagles, Miss Murph, I will be waiting for you next Tuesday. I'll be waiting for you next Tuesday. This is outside of Dolphins and Chiefs. You're looking at probably the bigger game of the two. And the reason why I say this is probably the bigger game of the two, with a win, Cowboys not only take the division, take the division lead, but you have to, once again, put them in that conversation of being tier one when we're talking about NFC teams. When I came into the season, I said it was three teams in my tier one: Dallas, Philly, and San Francisco. San Francisco loses a 3 straight, finally get into the bye. We'll see if they come back healthy for their next week game. But Philadelphia has looked good enough to win. I think they're starting to get over some of those struggles they was having early on in the season, as far as like getting the offense on the same page. And I'm a fan, but I'm an analyst also. I do think, like I said, this is going to be must see TV for me. Do I think the Cowboys are going to go out there and blow them out like they did the Rams? No. Philadelphia has got much too good of a team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, when they're able to kind of get that run game going, when they're consistently trying to run the ball, get that play action game going. Philadelphia is a hard team to deal with when they got it going on the offensive side of the ball. I do think the Cowboys, if they're able to kind of get some of those red zone issues cleaned up, they can take advantage of this Philadelphia's defense. And we've seen teams take advantage of the defense. The defense has played well enough to have them at 7-1, but I'm picking boys. Come on now. I'm picking the boys. I do think it's going to be a I'm not going to say 30-30 type game, but I do think this is one of those 28-24 type games. Dallas, if they allow that Philadelphia run game to get going, it's going to be a long day. Jalen Hurts has shown to be more turnover prone than he was last year. I think if you get turnovers against Philly, you got to make a pay with touchdowns. You can't be going down into the red zone kicking field goals. If you're going down there doing that, Dallas, you will get beat. You will get beat. But I'm looking forward to this game, because when we win, Miss Murph, I got you lined up. You will be on the panel. I'll keep the seat warm for you. I'll have all the sound effects that you want me to play. Yes. I'm just saying. This, by 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. You make sure you come with your Sunday's best, man. You make sure you come with your Sunday's best. I'll be waiting for you. And any other you fans out there that want to take bets on games, hey, I'm more than welcome to take those bets with you. Now, if Philadelphia wins, and it's a strong chance that Philadelphia could win, like I said, I'm a fan, but I'm also an analyst when I'm doing the show. We'll keep the light on for her. Yeah, we're gonna keep the light on for her. She's gonna spend the whole show uphill with good old Dots. She's gonna spend the whole show uphill with me. But like I said, if Philadelphia wins, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, Philadelphia, I think, has started to work out some of the kinks on the offensive side of the ball. I think the concerns you got to have now if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan is some of the slippage you've seen on the defensive side of the ball. When teams are able to attack them with quick passes and really kind of get into that passing game, like you saw with the Washington Commanders, Philadelphia has problems. You know, the pass rush is good, but the pass rush has got to get there. And if you're getting the ball out, get it to the playmakers, and they're making plays, Philadelphia defense has been kind of struggling. I didn't expect them to give up 31 points to the Commanders, but it happened. I'm just saying. But I got the boys. I got the boys winning. Like I said, it gives me one of those 28-24 type vibes. Dak has had had a lot of success playing against Philly when he's been the starter. So this is must see. I think whoever comes out of this game, in my opinion, has to be looked at as currently, and it fluctuates from week to week. But I think if the Cowboys are able to come out of this, or the Eagles, whoever comes out of this game is the winner, has got to be looked at right now. Consider how the 49ers have kind of tailed off the last 3 weeks, has got to be looked at as the best team in the NFC. I think this division race right here, probably more so. And I think Philadelphia's got to see San Francisco at some point this season. Let me take a sneak peek real quick. I do think 49ers are also on their schedule. I mean, the Eagles got Chiefs coming up. They got the Bills coming up. Yeah, so it's 49ers and Eagles, December 3rd. Eagles got a rough stretch of games. You got Cowboys this week. Who you got? You guys finally get your bye next week. And then you got Chiefs on the road. I think you got the Bills at home. You got the Bills at home. You got the 49ers at home. Then you got the Cowboys again. It's just very, very, this is, like I said, this is where you kind of separate the real from the fake. And I think Cowboys win. And I'm not just saying that as a fan. I think the Cowboys, traditionally, especially with Dak as the starter, have had some success against Philadelphia. I do think Philadelphia is working it out on the offensive side of the ball, but defense last couple times out have been kind of questionable. How you doing, Gator Girl? Don't be confident. Oh no doubt, brother. For certain, hey, I'm gonna live and die with the boys. I'll take my lumps when they lose. And as Gator Girl comes in here, reminds me of what happened 3 weeks ago. Have San Francisco won the game since then? You always come in with the shots. But no, brother, I'm gonna stand on that, man. I'm gonna stand on that. So yeah, I got Cowboys. I think they're gonna be able to take advantage of some of that slippage we've seen. If Washington was able to put up 31 on them, pretty much with a let's call it what it is, with a rookie quarterback and not as much talent on the offensive side of the ball, it'd be hard pressed for me to think that the Cowboys can't have some of that same success. Now, if we get down there, we get to struggling in the red zone like we've done at different points this year, and we're kicking threes. It's going to be a long night. I do think Jalen Hurts is you can kind of pencil him down for at least a turnover, at least one turnover. He's been a turnover machine this season. What's going on, Triggs? Yeah, I got Cowboys. I'm gonna pick the boys. And if Philly wins. The bet was, and I would get up here and show all Philly love. Might even put a Philly logo and you know, uh, change my screen name to Jalen Hurts bitch or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But hey, I mean it's always fun. When we get to play the Eagles, man. But I think whoever comes out of this game, the winner has got to be looked at as the best team in the NFC. Moving on and concluding for the Week 9 preview. Another game, Sunday night game. You got Bills, Bengals. Bengals look very good against the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Bengals are starting to look like the team that I picked coming into this season to win the division. Now, do I think they catch up to the Baltimore Ravens? I don't know. We still have a lot of the season to go, but the Bengals have looked very good last couple times out, especially against a very good 49ers team. Traditionally, the Bills have had some success against Cincinnati, but I just don't, for whatever reason, week after week after week, the more I watch the Bills, win or lose, and they've had some big wins this season. More and more, I watched him. Josh Allen, he keeps giving me Brett Favre vibes. He keeps giving me Brett Favre vibes with his penchant to try to force the ball when it doesn't need to be forced. And he's been a turnover machine his goddamn self this season. Like I said, I like Cincinnati. Cincinnati is at home, and so I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I think this is going to be a very good game. Um, Depending on this might be one of those games you kind of look back when we're talking about playoff seeding later on in the season. Later on in the season, this might be one of those games you kind of look back to, like what do we do against them? These teams might see each other again in the playoffs. I just don't trust Josh Allen. I trust Joe Burrow a lot more, especially how he's been playing. I think he's kind of recovered from this early season calf injury. So I got Bengals. I do think this is going to be a real good game. I do think quarterbacks will play very well. But I trust Joe Burrow more than I trust Josh Allen, and it's kind of what it boils down to for me. Buffalo just something about Allen, man. Is like he'll Brett Favre, man. That Brett Favre, like he throws turnovers and it'd be bad turnovers. So I got Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati in this one. Wrapping up Week 9 preview, you got Chargers and Jets. Jets scrapping, scrapping and keeping their playoff hopes alive, keeping their season alive, even though a lot of people around the country thought their season was over when Aaron Rodgers went out, but the team has kind of got it together, leaning on a very good defense coming into this game. And for that reason, with the defense playing how they've been playing through the majority of the season, and Justin Herbert is, I put him in that same category as far as Josh Allen. It doesn't inspire a lot of trust for me. Even though if you was to look at this on paper, you would probably pick Chargers coming to this game just because they have Justin Herbert and Jets have Zach Wilson. But I think the Jets defense is playing at a very elite level. I do think they're going to give the Chargers problems on that side of the ball, and I think that the Jets do enough on the offensive side of the ball to win the game. And it hasn't looked pretty. It hasn't been a stat field highlight from them from week to week, but this team has remained in a lot of games. They've been competitive in a lot of games. And for that reason, based on how the Jets defense is playing, I'm gonna have to take them at home. This is gonna be a pretty good game to watch on a Monday night. Justin Herbert once again, prime time. Let the nation get to see him. Very talented quarterback. I don't know. It's kind of like that Jalen Hurts thing I was talking about earlier in the season. There's some kind of disconnect between him and between the offensive coordinator. This team should be playing much better than they are. I will say that about the Chargers. When you look at them, on paper, when you look at the roster, this is a team that needs to be playing much better, but just has not been able to put it together for 4 quarters consistently enough for me to pick them. So I'm going Jets. I'm going Jets in this one. And that kind of wraps up my Week 9 preview. Thank you for tuning in, listen to me. Remember, always like, share, subscribe, comment, and make sure you hear on if no other show you're here for. It's always a show after a Cowboys-Eagles game. And when we win, for those who have not had the pleasure of hearing Miss Murph on a panel, you will be treated. You will be treated on Tuesday. The first appearance over here from Miss Murph was about 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. Yeah, somebody's gonna be bothered. Yeah, wait, yeah, that's the bet, right? We beat the Eagles, and they're the home team. Oh, not only am I gonna get up here and talk a little shit, Miss Murphy will be gracing the panel. Oh, for I know, at least in the spaces that I'm in, for the second time ever, Miss Murph, don't worry, you have your Sunday's best on, and we're going to have a good time. I won't beat you up too bad because we got to see you guys again in about 4 weeks after that. But yeah, I am. Who I've been waiting to get to this week. Y'all, come on, man. Cowboys, Eagles. Y'all know how I am about that week. Yeah, I think we're gonna win. It'll be a good game. It'll be a good game, But of course, I'm picking them boys. Of course, I'm picking them boys. So tomorrow, get it. Yeah, get it. You know how I am about them little side bets. So, I try to get people up on the show. They pulling for their team. They pulling against mine. What's going on, Keith? It was be my second time on the panel. Yeah, I know. I keep track. Yeah, I enjoyed you the last time you was on the panel with me. And I'm going to enjoy it Tuesday. Oh, I might even extend the show. I'll let you kind of get all your excuses out. Because if we lose, I'll show y'all love. I'll get up here with a Jalen Hurts picture as my avatar and talk about the Eagles in such glowing fashion and all of that stuff. Don't worry, it'll be fair. It will be fair. But yeah, tomorrow I will be doing a Freestyle Friday show over here, and then of course I'm doing a show. I got to do a show over in the other space. I'm putting some stuff together. I may put up a little throwaway video tonight. I may just put up a little throwaway video tonight. I'm doing something over there. It. But yeah, we will be doing a show tomorrow. Will be a Freestyle Friday show. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to kind of drop in there, like I said, the Freestyle Friday shows, I try to mix social topics with the sports stuff. Is kind of like blend it a little bit, keep it sports related, but if you missed some of my Freestyle Fridays previously, I think Dr. Nikki's come through for all of those. I had Speak on the last one, come through for that one. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Probably be around 8 o'clock, about 8 o'clock start time tomorrow for that show. Like I said, Freestyle Friday. Open panel. We kind of talk, like I said, sports and social, and kind of mix those. I do want to get into kind of revisit the Deion effect. How the media attention has kind of dropped off with the team losing like they've been losing, and I've seen a lot of, especially on Twitter, a lot of backlash with Deion in regards to how he's handled. For those who are not aware, they recently played UCLA, and it's been reported that somebody at UCLA, at the stadium, not necessarily associated with the university, stole a lot of jewelry from Colorado players, and they're saying Deion's, if you remember his reaction when it happened down at Jackson State, if you remember the reaction he was very outspoken, and spoke very candidly about that situation that happened down there when he was coaching at the HBCU. Very different tone in regards to the UCLA situation. So we will be touching on that tomorrow. Like I said, 8 o'clock start time for that. I'm gonna try to get that And of course, I'm be same bad time, same bad chat on the other space. I gotta woo, excited for that one. But anyway, like I said, thank you for thank you for supporting, like, share, subscribe. If you're trying to follow me on Twitter, God of Dots on Twitter. Um, this is always appreciate. I post some stuff. I need to start getting more active. I've kind of slipped last couple of weeks as far as like sharing out my shows and stuff like that. And being as active as I was a couple of weeks ago, we just kind of slacked off. Um, so much stuff to be juggling, man. So much stuff to be juggling. But anyway, let me get my behind up out of here. As always, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow for the Freestyle Friday show and Tuesday for the God of Dots debut. I'm speaking it into existence. I am speaking it into existence. The appearance of Miss Murph on the show. I am speaking it into existence. Hallelujah. 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 All right, so let me off with the phrase that pays around here, man. Is as always, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.